The monuments were sent here in pieces, and then the monuments had to be placed, and there had to be like some work done to the ground. Hello, I'm Tim Smith with Gettysburg History. Welcome to another Monuments Monday.
Tracy Stover 1749 asks, can you explain why the monument to Samuel Zook has his name listed as Samuel Kosciuszko Zook, but on the New York Auxiliary Monument, his name is listed as Samuel Kurtz Zook?
That's awesome. So I do not know the answer, and we have a biography of Zook here behind me. But I can just tell you this, in some references his name is Samuel Kosciuszko Zook. Of course, Kosciuszko, or sometimes pronounced Kosciuszko, is the Polish-American Revolutionary War general, and I think his family that lived near Norristown had some connection with him or were fans of him, but I've been told that his actual name was Samuel Kurtz Zook, and that's why the difference in the monument. The difference in the monuments. So I guess there's some question about his actual middle name. But he is one of 10 generals that were killed or mortally wounded in the Battle of Gettysburg out of the 120 generals involved.
Coaster Lover 8362 asks, I know there are a lot of different companies that made battlefield monuments, but which company produced the most?
Well, I would say it was the Smith Granite Company of Westerly, Rhode Island. And there are a bunch of different companies that are involved. And that's fascinating. And, you know, I'm always studying the companies, and also these companies seem to have local people living here, these bigger companies like the Smith Granite Company, that the monuments were sent here in pieces, and then the monuments had to be placed, and there had to be like some work done to the ground to prepare for a large stone, and a large foundation was placed, and then the other stones might arrive by rail. And maybe we can show a picture of it here. There's this massive wagon that was used to haul the stones, and I think this is the Smith Granite Company's wagon into position. So they're the ones that I know the most about and have the most information about, but I'm sure there's others.
Jamie Baldwin asks, I'd like to know which rock is Tim's favorite.
Oh, thanks, Janie. Man, I have a lot of favorite rocks. You know, I'm a big fan of the Elephant Rock south of Devil's Den because it's very difficult to get on top of that rock, and there's a rock carving on the rock from 1849. I'm sure there's the Troth Rock, which I look for many years, that appears in a photograph of a dead near Devil's Den. And of course, group of rocks, of course, I'd just say Devil's Den. But there's lots of individual rocks that are around the battlefield, and I've named my share of rocks. Okay, the rock in the center of the road, in the Wheatfield Road that appears in many photographs that doesn't exist anymore. I think I'm a big fan of rocks that used to be there but are no longer there.
Joe Burke asks, we've seen General Lee's horse name spelled Traveler with 2 L's or Traveler with 1 L on the monuments at what is believed to be a central or starting point for Pickett's charge, where the very large monument with Lee mounted on his horse is located. Do you know what the correct spelling is? Okay, so you might not know this, but we do not have a single writing source by Traveler of how he spelled his name. So, since we don't have that, we just have the accounts of other people spelling his name. It is spelled unusually. I'm not the best speller in the world. I like the spelling given by Welcome Traveler Campground. When I was a kid, there was a campground on the Baltimore Pike, and I always thought it meant Welcome Travelers. No, Welcome Traveler, they spelled it like the horse's name, and I'll put something here in the video so you can see how they spelled it. So, and I do know it's spelled a little differently, but I would just say it's that, you know, nobody really knew how to spell it. They just had heard it and they were spelling it their own way. We have that a lot in references to battlefield. I mentioned that in Bryan. How do we spell Abraham Bryan? We spelled a whole bunch of different ways. Harry Stratton asks, Knowing Tim's love for photographs and postcard images, what's your favorite photo or image relating to one of Gettysburg's monuments, markers, or tablets?
I think when I was a kid and I was collecting the postcards, it was the rare ones that I couldn't get a hold of or I'd heard about or seen. But I think the postcards by rotograph around 1905 to 1910, they were published. They had a really nice one of the Irish Brigade in color that I just thought was a great postcard. And the Tammany Hall Regiment monument on one of those early postcards was really striking. And I think it's kind of like as time goes by, in baseball, records are broken and you know who the current record holder is, and some of the older ones you don't think as much about. But I think the Tammany Hall Regiment, when it was placed, was the most expensive monument on the battlefield up until that point. And I was talking the other day about the 13th Massachusetts that was placed on the first day's battlefield, I believe in 1885. And when that was placed, it was the nicest monument that had placed on the battlefield up until the time. Probably outside the Soldiers' National Monument, of course, in the National Cemetery. So there are ones that, when I was looking for photographs and stereo cards, though, the more obscure the monument, I think, the better I liked the image. So again, if you like the content we put on our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to the video. And you're welcome to put comments or other questions in the link to this video.